Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to Tereak Talks. Guys, it has been a while, and it always feels like I say that at the end when I do the Premier League preview show, but it has been because I wasn't able to bring you the Premier League preview show on Monday for the midweek games, as those of you did catch it in the community post, and you might be able to tell a little bit with how my voice sounds. I have been ill. I'm much better now, though. Thank you for those who sent lovely wishes, and yeah, we're recovering soon. There is a lot of bugs flying about at the moment, and I just had like a really bad cold. So, a common case of man flu, as they like to call it. But yeah, I'm feeling much better now, and I'm glad that I am able to be here bringing you the Premier League preview show, looking ahead to some fantastic fixtures that we've got on show this weekend. And of course, my mighty Arsenal, which I'm wearing the Christmas jumper with the theme. And, this time of the year, everyone has to get their Christmas jumpers out. This is the first Arsenal Christmas jumper that I've got. And let me step back. And it has ice there. Oh, the microphone's blocking it. And it has the great Dennis Bergkamp Iceman right there at the back as well. So yeah, it was decent. A fair bit of quid that I paid for this, but you can go get it at Classic Football Shirts. It's worth it. Good quality material. It's not a paid sponsorship. We haven't had one of them in a while on the channel. But yeah, definitely they've got plenty of other football ones, and yeah, you might enjoy that. I remember seeing, I think there's Eric Ten Cantona's or something like that. For Man United fans, and I'm sure there's Liverpool ones as well. But this is the best looking one, the mighty Arsenal, and you get to wear it at Christmas time and get to wear them to work dues and stuff, and and represent your club. Yeah, that was great. Kind of ad sponsorship there. So yeah, Classic Football Shirts. If you want to find me, you can send me a message, and you guys can find me with the links in the description as well. But big up to each and every one of you. Before we get into it and we start the Premier League preview show, I just want to big up to everyone here in the building. Love to see you here. Shay, big up to yourself. Listen to Shay as he says, smash that like button. Mr. 200 in here as well, and he will be catching up later. So big up to yourself, Mr. 200. Thanks for popping by. And leave your predictions into the comment section at the end. And the same for you as well, Pax. Big up to yourself, my brother. But yeah, of course, there's going to be plenty of waffle already. We're 3 minutes 50 seconds in, and there's already been waffle. That's completely off script, and I mean, I don't really follow a script, as you can probably tell. But yeah, I didn't even plan to mention anything about it, but yeah, it just happens how it does on the channel as always. Big up to yourself as well, man. Love to see you in here, and just like Mr. 200 and Miss and Pax will post predictions at the end. Have a great 3-hour show. I don't know how I managed to do it. Chat to 3 hours, just into a microphone and into a camera, and you guys typing away. But that's why I'm able to do it, because you guys are such great people to interact with, and I really do enjoy chatting to you guys, especially verbally, because I'm not the great at texting or messaging or keeping in touch in that way. Some of you, I mean, all of you probably know that by now. Poor communication in that way. But yeah, when it comes to verbally, that's where I like to communicate with you guys. Big up to yourself as well. Nightwolf in the building. Love to see you in here. Big up to Moss in here as well, says T Talks, not popping up on my lives. Big up to yourself, man. Nice to see you in here. It has been a while as well, Moss. Love to. I hope everything's good. Hope you're keeping well. Mr. KC says, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Tell a friend. Big up to yourself, Casey. Love to see you in here. And that is your cousin. Is Nightwolf your cousin? Big up to yourself. Big up to Shay's cousin if you are watching in here as well, and everyone in Shay's family too. Where's Drew? He's not here for the preview show tonight. You might see him for the reaction show tomorrow. I will be doing a reaction. I wasn't able to do last weekend's because that was when the illness was breaking through. So I should really get into it, shouldn't I, guys, before my voice decides to go. But before I do, Bromy flu and Moss, my fellow Gooner as well, says we have to break villains' hearts again. Yeah, we definitely do. Burkamp Wonderland, you know it, Moss. You know it indeed. But yes, let us get into it. But before I do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are new. But yeah, if you could just drop a like and support the channel, please do. And yeah, you guys continue to support the channel by even being here, watching the streams, getting your predictions into the comment section. That is very much grateful indeed. And yeah, let's get into it now. And guys, you know what you need to do? If you don't know, and if it's your first time watching the stream, then welcome. But yeah, if you want to enter our predictions league, where we have multiple giveaways at the end of the season, and we also do giveaways during the season too. We've got we've got something new called the PL Predictor of the Month. So kind of similar to how the Premier League Player of the Month is, and there's in the Manager of the Month, which you saw Eric Ten Hag and Harry Maguire get. And that's probably a big topic of discussion as well, that we'll discuss on here. But yeah, you guys can get a Predictor of the Month and get a giveaway, and it's just a small prize. I think we gave Manj was the first winner, and Mr. 200 was the last month's winner. And I'll give you an update on the Predictions League and on the Predictor of the Month table for this month, for December. Maybe you can get yourself something in the New Year sales with our giveaway. But big up to everyone who's a part of it. And if you want to join, make sure you leave your predictions in the comment section at the end of this stream, and you will get 3 points for correct score, 1 point for correct result. So, for example, Arsenal are taking on Aston Villa this weekend, and if Aston Villa win by 1-0, and you predict that 1-0 scoreline, you will get 3 points. If you predict the Villa win and it's 2-1, and you vice versa, you get 1 point. What if it's a draw or an Arsenal win? You get 0. But I hope there's not too many people predicting that. But yeah, if you do think that's going to happen, definitely get that into the comment section as well. Sorry, might be having to mute the mic and stuff. I've still got a little tickly cough on my chest as well. So I do apologize if you do hear some pauses in here as well. But guys, let us get into it. And Arsenal traveling away to Aston Villa. As you can probably tell by my accent as well, I am local-ish to the area of Aston Villa. Well, I don't live there now, but I've grown up not too far from there. And this is a personal derby for me, with me being an Arsenal fan and Aston Villa. It is in Birmingham, Saturday evening, 5:30 kickoff here in the UK under the lights, and both teams entering this game in very good form indeed. Arsenal last game beating Luton by 4-3 in a thriller in the end for the neutral, not for my heart. Well, it was thrilling for my heart up and down, but I wanted it to be a nice, easy night, whilst I wasn't feeling too great. But yeah, I did end up cheering. Found a new lease of life when Declan Rice hit that ball into the back of the net, off of his head. But yeah, David Raya, I thought I was hallucinating when I saw those 2 mistakes from him there. But with Aston Villa, I thought I was hallucinating again when I saw that performance against Manchester City, because to dominate the treble winners and the current Premier League champions in the way that they did and put them away in that sort of fashion, it was surprising. The win wasn't surprising because a lot of people did go for an upset on here, and people did predict that kind of victory to happen for Aston Villa because given their home form, the confidence they're in, and that Manchester City were with the players that they were missing and Rodri, Jack Grealish, already missing the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and injuries to Doku as well. There were for hope. There was, reason for optimism to think that Aston Villa could get a result, but in the fashion that they did was impressive and it was impeccable. And they should have scored more, to be honest. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard that Man City couldn't even get a shot off past the 11th minute. Erling Haaland, after he drew that double save from Emi Martinez, that was the only shots that they had in the game. One of them was offside as well. So I think it only counts as one shot, really, for Aston Villa and Emi Martinez to deal with. Then after that, to get over 20 shots against Manchester City. Ederson and Ruben Diaz were the only reason that scoreline stayed down. It was an excellent performance, some standout performers in there. Leon Bailey, the goal scorer, man of the match as well. John McGinn, I thought he was immense. And those of you who are long-time subscribers and fans of the channel will know my thoughts on John McGinn, and someone I have really rated. And when he came into the Premier League, he continued his form that he's shown in the Championship, hit the ground running, but kind of plateaued and took a bit of a nosedive when Steven Gerrard came, and in that period towards the end of Dean Smith and Steven Gerrard. But then Unai Emery's come in and he's regained and found that form. So yeah, excellent players there for Aston Villa. And in the injury news going into this, it's looking better. It is looking good because they did have 4 players who were on the edge, on the cusp of being suspended for this one, but none of them picked up that 5th yellow card of the season, which meant they missed this crunch tie. So they are going to be available for this one, still with 4 yellow cards to their names, but available for Arsenal at home. And the ones that won't be available will be Emi Buendia and Tyrone Mings, of course, who had suffered serious knee injuries at the beginning of the season, and they won't be their long-term doubts and long-term outs, absentees. That is how you say it, isn't it? And no Bertrand Traore either. But apart from that, a fully fit Aston Villa squad to what we know at this point. And Arsenal, and let's touch upon them before we get into the game, is the top of the league, 36 points to their name, 2 points clear ahead of Liverpool, 4 points clear ahead of Aston Villa, and 6 points clear ahead of Manchester City. This is a real opportunity to make a statement for the Gunners, who are entering, for me, the next 3 games are the most important as an Arsenal fan in terms of our season so far, because we've got Aston Villa away, Brighton at home, and Liverpool away. Aston Villa away, we did win their last season, and we're actually the last team in the Premier League to win at Villa Park. In all competitions, Everton won there. They're the last team to do it. But in the Premier League, they've been on a 14-game winning streak. And yeah, and that started after the Arsenal game. And can Arsenal be the team to end it? Our away form has been brilliant this year. As it was last year too. Defensively, we look stronger away from home, apart from that Luton game where we decided to score 3 goals. And until that Luton game, we only conceded 3 goals away from home at that point. And then Luton went and doubled that in one night. So if Arsenal may go back to the levels that they've shown at the beginning of the season and cut out those errors from goalkeeper to the attack, then they're definitely going to cause Villa some problems. And both teams really are in form. And I feel like both teams are going to have to be at their best and hope for one of them to be slightly off it to take advantage of this, whether it's Aston Villa at home and Arsenal dropping off slightly, and the vice versa. The same goes for Arsenal being at their best and hoping for Aston Villa to drop slightly. But Arsenal are they the favourites to go into this? For me, they are. They are the better team. They are the superior team going, and that's no knock on what Unai Emery's done. But what kind of levels that are in football is the home factor. the crowd that Aston Villa they'll generate a good atmosphere, raucous, and it'll be a difficult place for Arsenal to go. But if they're able to manage that, they do have the superior players. If you was to do a combined 11 and just work on how each team performs in their system, defense, in transition and attack, Arsenal excel in all of those aspects. Maybe, with Aston Villa, they probably excelled on the attacking front this season, but they do concede more goals than Arsenal. They have heavily relied upon their home form away from home. They think they've only won one game in the Premier League this season away from home, and that was against Tottenham Hotspur, indeed, in a game where they were quite fortunate to get the win, given how the game went in the end, but still managed to get that through 3 points there, to my happiness, of course. But Arsenal going into this don't have any fresh new injury concerns, but there aren't any fresh new updates or any players that we're expecting to return for this game here. So no Fabio Vieira, no Takedo Tomiyasu, who we found out after the Luton game that he will be out for a couple of weeks. They had a scan and it wasn't good news, and he's going to be out for a while, says Mikel Arteta, but we've kind of had updates through the grapevine, and it's rumours that it is going to be a matter of weeks rather than months. So that is good news, but still Takehiro Tomiyasu not able to shake off the injuries to the calf, and that's what plagued him in his first season at the club. No Thomas Partey, still very early days. Mikel Arteta said in the press conference today, but it is, he said there's been very good evolution in the injury, so it's progressing well, I'm guessing, but it's a bit early to get a time frame. So who knows when he will return, Thomas Partey. Liverpool would be incredibly fast if he's able to do that, so we're gonna have to wait. So yeah, we might not get him back for the Liverpool game, which is what I was hoping for. So that's a bit of a disappointment, but we never expected to have him for this game anyway. So it's one game at a time. No Emil Smith-Rowe, and of course no Jurrien Timber, who is the long-term concern. But the good news on Jurrien Timber is that he's looking like he will be returning to the training pitch sooner rather than later. So we kind of know how both teams are going to set up going into this one here. Before I go into your thoughts, I'm going to give you mine and how I think the game is going to go. I do think it's going to be a spectacle to watch, and it is definitely going to be the most entertaining game of the weekend. Having said that, watch it be a 0-0 bore fest or a 1-goal winner. But no, I really don't believe that. I think that this is going to be a high-octane game, a lot of quality. Both teams entering this game with confidence and understanding how they want to play, having that clear direction, clear philosophy, and understanding what the manager will want from them. Quality attackers on show. Ollie Watkins is a threat for Aston Villa. Moussa Diaby or Leon Bailey, whichever direct speed winger that kind of plays as an inside forward in this Unai Emery system that he will go for. They will be a threat and cause Arsenal trouble, as they will try and maintain a high line and want to control and dominate possession. But Aston Villa try and do that themselves by playing that sort of high line and offside trap, which made the Tottenham game an entertaining spectacle, with both defenses wanting to play high and a lot of offside goals in that one there. Aston Villa will want to maintain that. They won't want to defer from it, because that's what has made them successful to this point. And Arsenal, we know how they want to dominate and control teams in their half and in as close to the opposition's final third, and seeing the likes of Odegaard get back to his best, Jesus being consistent. And guys, if you listen to the channel again, you will know how much I think Arsenal's attack is relied upon Jesus, because that's been an area where Arsenal haven't thrived this season. We haven't had the likes of Martinelli performing at his best, scoring the amount of goals that he was at this time last season. Odegaard struggling with consistency, and both of those players that I mentioned in Odegaard and Martinelli have struggled with injury as well, so they've had their own fitness issues to deal with. But missing that link between Gabriel Jesus, who creates space, who connects well with the midfielders and wide players in a way that not many other strikers in the league can do. Yes, he doesn't score as many goals as he should himself, but if we can get him on the pitch regularly, I think he will score enough goals, whether that's 12 to 15 goals in the Premier League. That's enough because of how much he creates for others. If Saka's been an output machine, and until recent weeks, we haven't quite seen him here at his fluid best, even though he's been still getting goals and assists to his name. Kai Havertz, you know how much I've been banging on the Kai Havertz drum, that he will be a success at Arsenal. We're starting to see that in fruition now. And what I thought and my expectations of him was to score goals and to increase the output from midfield, from the Granit Xhaka role. Who scored quite a few goals last season, but I expected Kai Havertz to kick on from that and improve in that aspect and improve Arsenal with more goals from midfield than we already got last year. And if he can continue this form and have another big game, and if he continues his goal scoring run today and in this game, this will be another big game away from home where he scored at in important moments. So yeah, let's hope that he can do that again. And Arsenal have threats all over the pitch, set pieces. Gabriel and Saliba can score goals. We haven't even seen a Gabriel goal yet this season, I don't believe, from a set piece, which is weird because he's one of our highest goal scoring defenders. So Arsenal do have plenty of ways of scoring, but so do Aston Villa. John McGinn has mentioned, Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey. They have the likes of from set pieces as well. Pau Torres has been excellent this year. Douglas Luiz, whether that's from a penalty spot or from outside the box, taking a long distance effort. So many threats, and I think there is going to be goals in this game here for sure. That both teams will score, I do believe, but I actually do think Arsenal are going to win the game, and my prediction is Arsenal to win by 3-1. The reason why I've gone for such a prediction like that for Arsenal is away from home. We do tend to be much more concentrated, especially in the bigger games. Even in our only defeat in the Premier League this season against Newcastle, we didn't give them much of a sniff. Whereas Newcastle, again, they didn't give us anything in that game either. But Aston Villa will allow us to have chances. They will, with that high line that they do play with. They take risks, high reward strategy. But with Arsenal's runners out wide, we can make those runs diagonally from out to in. Martinelli, his pace and his speed and directness will be a threat for them. We have late runners within the midfield. Kai Havertz making that second man run where Jesus, he doesn't necessarily run in behind from the central areas. He will drop deep to link and connect, and he can find those players there. I think Zinchenko, we saw with his introduction in the game against Luton, how important he is, because he did face a little bit of criticism, and this is something I really wanted to speak about, and I got ill in the end, so I wasn't able to do the stream for the Wolverhampton Wanderers game, but I really wanted to defend Zinchenko. And yes, he has his weaknesses, as Mikel Arteta said, but I do think the defensive weaknesses are overblown, and people saying we can't rely on him, we can't be going into such big fixtures with him. No, Arsenal control teams the way that they do, and we're able to sustain so many attacks and get into the final third as often as we do, and have so many box entries where we're able to get shot creating actions and cause teams problems and knock on the door and eventually break them down and score last minute winners because of Alexander Zinchenko. His press resistance, when he's concentrated, when he's not into the last 20 minutes of the game, which is when his concentration tends to wane a little bit, but that he is at his best in progressing that ball in that first phase, getting in there. He can overlap, as we saw on that left-hand side against Wolverhampton Wanderers. He is vital for Arsenal in us maintaining our level, and he will have a big moment in this game as well. But I do think that Arsenal are going to win this game. I'm quite confident of that, and I think it's vital that Arsenal go and win this, because before this game, Liverpool will play Crystal Palace, and if they grab a win in here, or depending on whatever the result is, Arsenal have the opportunity to make a statement here. That result doesn't even matter in regards to the statement. Winning away at Aston Villa, breaking that record after what we've just seen at the back of what they've done in midweek against Manchester City. But off the back of that Liverpool game, if Liverpool win, Liverpool will go top of the table. Arsenal reclaim that spot with the 3 points. If Liverpool drop points, Arsenal have an opportunity to extend their lead at the top. But if Liverpool lose again, and make that gap even bigger with Anfield on the horizon. But yeah, definitely huge match for Arsenal. I've spoke about it a lot here. I'm confident that Arsenal will get the win, and this isn't just the fan in me talking. This is the just trying to look at it from my football hat as well. Aston Villa, not to be disrespected. Their attack is definitely a threat and a worry for Arsenal, especially with our errors in goal at this moment in time. And set pieces, defending set pieces in particular. The 2 goals that Luton scored came from set pieces. Unai Emery likes to work on those, and he does tend. From what I saw at Arsenal, we did get quite a few goals from set pieces. Sorry, as well. But defensively, it's going to be difficult for them to marshal us in this game. So that's why I've gone for a 3-1 Arsenal win. But let me see what you guys and girls are saying in this chat right here. Shay's also gone for a 3-1 Arsenal win. Hanno is a Chelsea fan, says up the Villa. We'll definitely talk about your team, Hanno, but big up to yourself. Casey has gone for a 1-1 draw. Night Wolf's gone for 2-1 to the Arsenal. Moss killing it in the Prem and super predictions. Yeah, we'll show you the league table at the end. Moss, he's gone for a 2-1 Arsenal win. Saka and Jesus, or maybe an own goal of a certain someone as well. Floodlight failure, 88th minute, just when Saka was about to score. Is that what you're saying, Casey? I hope that doesn't happen. Big up to yourself, Gally in the building. Says 1-0 Villa in flying form at home and just beat City. They might even nick a 2-1 win. So we've got a potential Villa win here, maybe, or getting a draw at the least, says Gally C Games. Mark Durant, big up to yourself as well, says Kai Havertz double, shall see off Villa. I'd love that. That'd be perfect over here at Street Talks. We definitely have to have a good reaction if that one did happen. 1-1 draw. Well, I think I've read that 3 times, Casey. Emi Martinez own goal. Is that what you're saying? I'll take that again. It was sweet to get that in the 4-2 victory last year. Yeah, I did like that. 3-1 Arsenal, says Shay. And who's your favourite player to score a hat trick? Oh, I'm struggling with my favourite players. Is that Kai Havertz? Is that Bukayo Saka? Is it Declan Rice? Is it Jesus? Yeah, I've got a lot of Arsenal players who are my favourites. Even Saliba or David Raya. But yeah, I'm defending a lot of Arsenal players of late. But Mark says 3-0 to the Arsenal. Guys, make sure you do smash the like button if you haven't done so already. And sorry, I do have to keep pushing that out, ramming that down your throats, pause. But yeah, guys, yeah, please do. But yeah, and also leave your predictions in the comment section as well. So 3-1 to the Arsenal. Come on, we will be doing a match reaction show for this one. No watch along, unfortunately. Just got a busy house tomorrow. And yeah, I might not have a voice for the match reaction, but I'm sure I definitely will bring you on. Win, lose, or draw, that'll be here for tomorrow. Hold me to it, people. And let's get into the next game indeed. If you've got any questions on this one at all, let me know and I'll answer them. I'll star them in the chat. If you've got any questions on any of the games, I'll get them saved. If it's for the next fixture, we can definitely talk about them as we discuss them as well. And the next one is we move from the best side of North London to the worst part of North London, who are in dire form at the moment without a win in their last 5 games. But Tottenham Hotspur take on Newcastle United, and this one is on Sunday night. It is a 4:30 kickoff here in the UK. Another big fixture that should get the juices flowing for a lot of fans. And both teams, off the back of defeat yesterday, West Ham beating Tottenham, which is a bitter way for them to lose, and a defeat that I enjoyed watching as well as an Arsenal fan. But yeah, Jekyll and Hyde first and second half for Tottenham, because they were quite good, knocking on the door, and they were the better team in that first half. But in the second, they were the makers of their own downfall, and they always had that with Tottenham, even when they were in their flying form and they had all their players fit, there was always that jeopardy involved in their games, given how Angie's football is and how aggressive he is with his attacking football, pushing those both fullbacks high up the pitch into those central areas, leaving the two centre backs are very high and exposed to a certain points, but relying upon their athleticism and not so good timing of the opposition runs and to kind of not work it out. But as I always thought later on into the season, without this sort of extent of injuries, that they would start to get found out a little bit and teams will work them out, because that's what happens in the Premier League. That's what happened with Arsenal a little to what last season as well. Once teams kind of worked out that we was vulnerable in certain places, they pounced upon it, and what we tried to do and really tried to go at teams early on, they would sit back at us, try and manage out those first 15 minutes, and then the game would become a bit stretched. So Arsenal had to adapt very quickly, and we had to adapt in multiple ways even throughout the season, until we couldn't know more due to injuries. But yeah, Tottenham haven't been able to do that in their last fixtures, and that's why they have lost 4 out of their last 5, and out of their last 5 games, have taken the lead in every single one of them and not taken a victory. That's the first time that has happened in Premier League history. But I'll tell you what, it shouldn't be surprise anyone, because Spurs are the team who have lost the most amount of points from winning positions in the Premier League history. So yeah, the most amount of points is Spurs. They're losing. Yeah, that if you kind of get my gist. I butchered that completely at the end there, but you get what I'm talking about. And Newcastle United, who at home are a formidable team, but away from home, Jekyll and Hyde. Spoke about Tottenham being Jekyll and Hyde in the first and second half. It's totally that for Newcastle away from home. Lost 3-0 to Everton. And it was 3 goals that basically came from Kieran Trippier giving them the ball or playing them onside. So it was poor from the Englishman and one of their leaders. And is he their current captain? No, I think it's Jamal Lascelles, but one of the leaders in the squad. But both teams are entering this with plenty of injuries to some key and important players. Let's go without going into too much of the injury list for both teams. Let's just mention the key ones that still won't be back or might be returning. So, of course, no Van der Ven, no James Maddison, no Rodrigo Bentancur, no Perisic, no Mala Solomon, and no Eric Dyer, who's got a sore groin, but he's not been playing in most games anyway since the injuries. He played against Wolves and not really got back into the side unless for a couple of substitute appearances. But the big one, potentially no Heung-min Son, who picked up a lower back injury yesterday, and he was pictured on the bench in tears, of course, but they're not quite sure on it yet. They're going to have a look at him and see how that develops within the next 48 hours after the game. So yeah, probably tomorrow they'll know a bit more if he's able to participate in that session, or if he's going to be available on Sunday, the extent of that injury. But for Newcastle United, theirs is even longer than Tottenham Hotspurs, of course, with no Tonali there. Nick Pope out with an injury, so Dubravka's going to be in goal for them. No Dan Burn, no Callum Wilson, no Anderson, Sean Longstaff, Sven Botman, Joe Willock, Harvey Barnes, Jamal Lascelles could be the latest one on that list, who picked up a dead leg against Everton, and he was hobbling around towards the end of that game. I did catch the last about 15 minutes or so, and looked like he was in some pain. Eddie Howe says that he doesn't think it's a serious one. It just looks like a dead leg for him. But yeah, who knows? Dead legs can progress to be a bit worse, and it's hard to put any weight on them because it is internal bleeding, I guess, in bruising in there. But yeah, we'll have to see how that develops over the next, as again, a bit like Son, over the next 48 hours. So yeah, before he's able to play in that game. And both teams depleted in terms of squad, but it's going to make for an interesting matchup, I do believe. Newcastle, who will want to set up on the and trying to attack them on the counter attack a bit more in this game, with Tottenham looking to be the aggressors and the protagonists in here. They will show some form of vulnerability. I think both teams will be as well, but both teams have the capability of scoring goals. Spurs take the lead. It doesn't really first goal, my old cliche that I like to always mention on the channel. First goal is always important. I don't think the first goal is going to be important for this game, because both teams kind of have a bit of vulnerability due to their depleted squad. It would be a great game if both teams were had and a lot of their key players fit in, fully fit squads, or at least the main players anyway, for this game. But still should make an interesting spectacle. I've gone for a high scoring game. I can't get off the fence. I've got splinters. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I just think that the way that Spurs will create chances against Newcastle. No Nick Pope, I think it's a big loss. We saw with a couple of the goals against Everton yesterday. They let Everton with quite a few chances in that, and I think Spurs have a better attack than Everton do. And Everton are a decent side, by the way. And if it weren't for that 10-point deduction, they'd be above Chelsea right now. But yeah, they are a good team and attacking. They do create quite a few chances. So do Spurs. So I think Newcastle will be vulnerable in that sense. But of course, Spurs have their own vulnerabilities of themselves. And we'll have to, with Anthony Gordon, if he's fit and available, with Isak, they've got pace. With that high line, if you want to attack a high line, it's not direct through the middle because that's close to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper is able to manage those situations out. You want to attack from wide because you can make them runs from out to in and look across the whole line and know exactly how high or how deep they are. So I think the wide players, Anthony Gordon, Isak, will be able to have and cause them problems in this one. So we'll have to wait and see. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I can't split it between the two sides for this one here. But if there was going to be a winner, I'd go for I think I'd go to Spurs, if there was a winner in this one. I just think Newcastle playing the same team in almost every game, it feels like, because they have no choice but to. When you look at their bench, it's full of goalkeepers or full of academy players that are yet to even get a first team appearance as well. So yeah, we'll have to another one. Interesting game, but I've gone for a 2-2 draw. And so has Casey as well. He's gone for a 2-2 draw in this one. Shay's gone for a 4-0 Newcastle. Moss says, feel free chat for Villains vs Arsenal. And he's watching on his channel there as well for tomorrow. Nightwolf says 4-2 Newcastle. High scoring games most of you guys have got so far, but Newcastle edging the win at the moment. Moss agreeing with me and Casey, saying a 2-2 in this game. Casey says Tottenham haven't been able to do it at anything since the 60-61 season. Yeah, nothing in the league anyway. Big up to my brother Brush in the building. So smash that like, folks. Listen to my bro Brush. Love to see you in here, my man. Always love seeing you in here, man. Big up to you, and big up to my brother CM as well. Love to see you all you guys. Really appreciate you. Large ups to you and TTF, and happy Friday. That's what I like to hear. Happy Christmas. I love it with this time of the year when Moss changes his channel name to Chris Moss. It works really well. It's very clever play on words. I do love it indeed. Big up Realist in here as well, dropping up that smiley face. Love to yourself, my brother. Hope you're keeping good and well. Hey, same score. No cheating off the master predictor. You are in great form, and you wouldn't be a bad person to cheat off. But yeah, no, definitely. I'm not cheating. I do promise, indeed. But yeah, I'll show you the table at the end, my bro. But Everton, we spoke about Chelsea. We spoke about Everton in the last fixture. And they are the next teams in here. And the reason why I've got them next is because I wanted to speak about Chelsea in particular. That Man United game. Man United getting 28 shots off, having a over 4 point XG, 0 XG in that game for Man United. This United team that are struggling to score goals, are struggling to create chances. Their attackers have been in poor form overall this season, but managing to create so much against you after, again, you don't want to hear it, Chelsea fans, but over £1 billion spent on that squad. It is horrendous. It is and you have to look at everyone involved. manager including Mauricio Pochettino, players out there on the pitch, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Dimitar Berbatov said that he thinks Chelsea are going to win the league this season. Is he mad? What? Looking at Chelsea, yeah, ever since Antonio Conte last won them the league, but especially under Todd Burley, you telling me that you've seen Chelsea able to go win a league? They're not even on 20 points right now from 15 games. The performances, yeah, they got a glorious 4-4 draw, a brilliant 4-4 draw, brilliant 2-2 draw, and an outstanding 1-1 draw against Liverpool and Arsenal and Man City. But the standards there are at the rock bottom, and they were all at home. Yes, we know what these players can do on their day, but building around young players and having this sort of squad and this project is going to involve inconsistency and massive dips in their levels, in their performance levels. And to do that is shocking. And and that level of performance with that quality of the price tag of these players and the quality, he's got to be looking at Mauricio Pochettino. And it's a poor build anyway with £1 billion, because you got £1 billion spent and you're not even got a striker. You can't even put goals in the back of the net. It's shocking, disgusting. And Chelsea going into this one, this is a yeah. You could probably I made a lot of noises there, but you can tell how I'm feeling about this for Chelsea going away to Everton. Everton are tend to be better away from home than they are at home, but we saw with that Newcastle win, they're going to be buoyant. They do have that siege mentality from what Sean Dyche is building. But Everton are a well-organised outfit anyway. They are a team that do create plenty of chances. Their problem is putting them away, as we saw in that Man United game, and even against Newcastle yesterday, until Newcastle capitulated. That they will cause problems. They can create chances against teams that are in disarray. And Chelsea is certainly one of those at the moment. Not convincing at defending set pieces, not convincing at defending crosses into their box either. We've seen how many goals from being scored from crosses into their box. We were poor, and we scored our equaliser with a cross into the box. Leandro Trossard, Scott McTominay scored with two goals from crosses into the box. Shocking. And it's definitely something to worry about for Chelsea fans. And I can't see them getting a win in this one. I can't see them getting a win. Do I think they will get a win, a draw, or a defeat, though? Do I back Everton to go and score enough goals to put Chelsea to the sword and put that, final nail in the coffin? I say final nail in the coffin, but he's not going to get sacked. Let's be real. And I don't think he should get sacked. But there's certainly questions that have to be raised. Graham Potter wasn't given enough time for my liking. And he lost control of the dressing room, as a lot of people are saying, and he didn't speak well. But I don't think Mauricio Pochettino speaking well when he's saying that his players gave everything against Man United. Oh, my word. If they gave everything against Man United, they're definitely not going to grab a win here. But yeah, there's my damning indictment on Chelsea. I just can't see it for them. Very inconsistent. They've not been able to string 2 wins since the Fulham and Burnley game, and that's against poor level of opposition. I've gone for an Everton 1, Chelsea 1, and that's just because of the sheer fact that Everton can't put the ball in the back of the net when it's most needed. They are out of the relegation zone, and massive props to Everton and what Sean Dyche is building over there. Again, on the channel, I have thought that I've said it from watching Everton, even when they were down there and they weren't able to grab a win. I was impressed with their performances, and their performance levels were something that showed me that if they can start putting the ball in the back of the net, if they can get Calvert-Lewin up and going, who missed some poor chances yesterday, but if they can get Beto scoring some goals and get other people chipping in, then Everton will be fine. It should be in the top half of the table right now. It should be 10th right now. at the very least. But yeah, if they can pick up 3 points here, they'll be 6 points behind Chelsea. But I think they will grab a draw just because of those lack of quality in front of goal. But let me see what you are all saying here in the chat right now. So what have we got? What we've got? And 2-2 draw, Nicholas Jackson, Thriller. 3-3 draw, says Nightwolf. Shay's gone for a 2-0 Chelsea. Over a billion. Just listen to yourself, Tereak. Yeah, we're over 1 billion. For players they signed, how much would they recuperate? Half a billion, maybe a little more. Oh, this, do you know what's a great shout? Because a lot of their players that they signed, their value, not necessarily, yeah, their value would have depreciated because of how much that they would have signed for. And from then, Enzo Fernandez, nowhere near over £100 million player at that point in his career. For what, 6 months that he had in Benfica and a 7-game tournament. Caicedo, well overpaid for him again. At the most, you pay for 70 million for Caicedo, and that's at the most. And even if he would cost 70 million, the levels of performances, his standards not there right now. Yeah, they would do well to recuperate half of them. I hope you can't hear the music, guys. You can't hear the music, can you? Let me. No, you can't. That's fine. Yeah, I've got music playing downstairs, and I don't want to get that copyright strike. But yeah, so my mom's using a speaker as a. I feel like I'm gonna start singing here. She's not even playing Christmas tunes. I'm wearing a Christmas jumper, and she's playing some R&B stuff. She's having a good time, though. That's the main thing. Enjoying her Friday night, just like you guys are here. 1-1 I have here as well. DCL and sorry, Miss Jackson. Hey, think you're copying me now, Moss. Nah, I think yeah, he's also gone for a 1-1 draw. We both have. Love to see you in here. But yeah, I don't think they would recuperate half a billion, man. See, good point, Casey. They're not even recuperate half of that if they're to sell him right now. Noni Madueke, you won't get 20 million for him. Yeah. And this is young players they're signing, and they can't recuperate that. That's just how much of a mess Chelsea are in. Luton Town take on Manchester City in our next fixture. And this is, again, this one is the 2:00 kickoff here on Sunday. It is on TV here in the UK. So it is an intriguing fixture again because Luton Town against Arsenal put up a good fight. Yeah, they were fortunate with a couple of their goals in that game, but very admirable in the way that they fought and dug in and didn't give up. Even when Arsenal took the lead on 2 occasions, they didn't fold. They continued to fight in there, took the lead themselves with that Ross Barkley goal. And Ross Barkley, oh my word, is he an Arsenal fan or Spurs fan at the very least? Because he played like a man possessed. I haven't seen Ross Barkley perform like that since he was playing for Everton. To be honest with you, with Romelu Lukaku, them days, I thought he was brilliant in that game. And he really did cause our midfield some problems when he was in possession of the ball going forward. It wasn't on many occasions that they went forward a lot. Didn't go forward, but the times that he did, he was certainly at the heart of it. But Manchester City in a little mini crisis of their own. They should have Rodri back and Grealish for this game. I'm not too sure on the extent of Doku's injury. Let's have a look into it here. But yeah, Manchester City, even with Grealish and with Rodri, they weren't going out there winning games. Not won a game in their last 5 either. With 4 draws, I believe. Is it 4? Yeah. 4 draws and a defeat. They drew to Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, and lost to Aston Villa. See, it's not 4, yeah. 4 games, 3 draws, and a defeat. But yeah, it is something to be concerned of, but he will have a fitness test, Jeremy Doku, so he's only a minor injury. But yeah, they will have Rodri, Jack Grealish, and good news for Man City, not for this game, but towards the longer term, they will have Kevin De Bruyne soon because he's back on the grass running. And unless there is any setbacks on that there, but yeah, he's recovering from that hamstring injury. He may return for the FIFA Club World Cup for them, and then maybe after that we'll see him in Premier League action. Since the start of the season he has been missed, and Man City have missed him from a creative standpoint because only getting the 2 shots against Aston Villa, as I said, they will allow Aston Villa aren't known to be the best defensive team even at home. Luton were able to score against them at Villa Park as well. So again, it's going to be an interesting fixture. And the reason it's interesting is because Luton is a unique place to go in the Premier League. You don't see many grounds like that where it's a tight atmosphere, physical side from set pieces and how they will match up against you. They know they don't have the technical quality, but Rob Edwards has them drilled, structured, and has their message across to clearly for them to understand, and that's why they are in the Premier League. For what they lack in talent, they make up in fight, and they've got some decent talents of their own, as mentioned, Ross Barkley. I was very impressed with Alfie Doherty and his delivery from set pieces, and from that left-hand side, he's probably one of their key players in this game here. If they are going to get any joy, they are missing a few important players with injuries though, so they won't most likely have Marvelous Nakamba, Sambi Lakonga, Corley Woodrow, those types of players, but especially with the previous two in Nakamba and Lakonga. Tom Lockyer, he wasn't able to get on the grass. This was before the Arsenal game, but he could be back for the Man City one. That is going to be a huge plus. Their skipper, they did miss him, I think, defensively. Arsenal were able to get in the box easily and create chances, and he's someone who's their key defensive stalwart. Scores goals from set pieces as well, so they can cause problems from a set piece standpoint against Manchester City. If there is anything they'll have from the Arsenal game, it is belief that we can match the level of the top teams in the league, especially at the at Kenilworth Road. They're going to be a handful. They will cause Manchester City a problem, I do believe. And there will be a test for City. But in my thoughts on this game, I do think Man City are going to respond with a victory, with a 2-0 win here. I think it will be tight throughout most of the game. City will nick that goal. Luton will hang on a little bit, and then when they do try to expand and go for the equaliser, I think City will be able to pick them off, and they will want to react like champions after some difficult fixtures that they faced. And yeah, this is one that they're expected. Man City are expected to win almost every game they play, but especially in this one here where there is that bigger gap in quality. I think the City will make up for it and react well off the back of that defeat. You kind of expect that from the champions, though. If they didn't, then I think we're talking about a serious crisis here for Man City, because after a performance like that against Aston Villa, I would hope if Arsenal put in that type of performance, I'd be gutted, because I'd be fearful of that could happen again all season. But then, especially in the next game, I'll be like, yo, we need to go and win now. We need to bounce back and really put our opposition to the sword. And I think that they will, to a certain extent, and they will grab the win against Luton. So I've gone for a 2-0 Manchester City win. Excuse me. Sorry about that, people. Casey's gone for 3-1 to Man City, with Haaland getting all three. 3-1 City, says Night Wolf. 2-2 Luton. So Shay's gone for sorry again for them dropping points. Is Luton North London? Nah, it's not. It's Hertfordshire. So yeah, they're not classed as London. Out just on the outskirts. It's close to North London. I'll tell you an interesting fact, Casey. I saw on Twitter. The Luton Stadium is 13 miles from the Arsenal training ground, which is the same distance as Arsenal's training ground is to the Emirates. So yeah, they didn't have any longer journey. There was no added time into their journey getting to the Kenilworth from the training ground for the Arsenal players, but it was, you know, a journey further north rather than south. But yeah, in that sense. But Moss has also gone for a 3-1 Manchester City win with Haaland bagging 3. He says, we ended our winless streak at the Kenny and time to continue our win streak at Villa Park. Sorry, Unai. Lo siento, mi Emiliano. He's saying, I'm sorry to Emiliano and lo siento to Unai as well. But yeah, let's go now into the next fixture. And it is the first game of the weekend, and that is Crystal. Excuse me. Sorry about that there, guys. As you can tell, it's starting to tickle a bit now, which is good, I guess. A bit more of a ticklage. Dry cough, and it's much more frustrating for me when I'm talking and for you guys to listen, of course. But Crystal Palace take on Liverpool at 12:30 at Selhurst Park. Another away game, another 12:30. Before I even talk about any of the teams or fixtures, I need to say this. Jurgen Klopp, you are a disgrace. Yeah. The reason I say that, I'm sure everyone's seen the post-match interview where the presenter made a light-hearted joke, and it wasn't even remotely offensive or remotely disrespectful, for in my opinion, towards Liverpool playing a 12:30 kickoff. But Jurgen Klopp took it in a completely wrong way. Yeah, he's frustrated about the 12:30s, and he's probably sick to death of them, and he's thinking about his player welfare. I 100% agree with that. Klopp, you're right. Yeah, I agree with that. You're right, and you should have a go at the Premier League officials and direct your energy towards them and in the best way possible. But the presenter literally said, "Oh, with your favorite kickoff time at 12:30." Everybody knows that's a joke, but then Jurgen Klopp took it to heart and he kept going on about it, saying it's disrespectful. Yeah, I know it is entertainment, and it just was salty throughout the whole thing. I do urge you to go watch if you haven't done so. I just think it was awful, awful people skills. Yeah, you might be frustrated. You're off the back of a win, mate. Like you've just won a game. Yeah, come on, man. Like it's not good. It was annoying. I do like Jurgen Klopp as well. I do, but in that moment in time, this yeah, that's completely disregarding. Like, well, talking to another person like that, mate. Nah, sorry, and yeah, not good. It really frustrated me when I saw it because I'm thinking, I felt sorry for the presenter who's just literally just asked him a question, no sign of even apologized, and Klopp didn't take it. He was like, "No, I'm not having it." Yeah, come on, man, be a big man. You know what I mean? Stop crying. Yeah, and this is me saying that. I'm with Arteta as my manager, and I've seen him, of course, when he's moaning about referees and stuff. But if he ever responded like that to a journalist or a presenter that's just talking like that, I'd be disappointed. I would be. I really would be. I keep the same energy, but yeah, that next one. I don't. Whatever happened, there's no context that can make me that can make me say, "Oh, you know what? Nah, fair. You know, this is why it's behave like that." No, 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 not right at all. But anyways, Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Crystal Palace are in some poor form themselves. They just lost 2-0 at home to Bournemouth, and yeah, their injury list isn't looking good either. No check the Corey, who did suffer an Achilles tendon tear, and he's snapped it completely, so he's out for the season or most of the season. And they will have no Eberici Eze for this game either, who's recovering from an ankle injury. I'm sure they won't risk him for this fixture here, as they will want him to have him for the bigger fixtures. So two big injury doubts there, and another one added with Tyreek Mitchell, who went off on Wednesday, and he looked like he picked up a groin injury in that game, and that's devastating news because Crystal Palace don't have a left back. They tried to sign Lewis Hall in the summer, but he decided to go to Newcastle. They do not have any other options or depth in that position. They're missing Eze for his creativity, and Chet Decore was their player of the season last year. 3 massive injuries, and then a fixture like this with the form that Liverpool are in, going into this, their attack flying. Darwin Nunez looking chaos. He is indeed, but he's chipping in with some goals and assists, and he's missing a lot of chances. But he's creating them, and he had a good cameo off the bench against Sheffield United as well. 12:30 though, will Liverpool be at their fluid best? I do not think they will. I don't think that Liverpool will be, but they were able to make some substitutions going into that, and make some changes for the Sheffield United game. And if there is a good time to play Crystal Palace, you'd probably say now. Liverpool have a good record at Selhurst Park. I think Crystal Palace have a better record at Anfield than they do at Selhurst Park against Liverpool. But yeah, I just think Liverpool are going to win this one here, and they're going to take it by 2-0 for this fixture here. Not big injuries for Liverpool, of course. There's no Joel Matip, who has ruptured his Achilles. Not Achilles, sorry. Who has ruptured his ACL as well. So he'll be out for the remainder of the season. And Alisson, this game might come for him too soon. Yesterday, he trained normally. Okay, so he trained normally yesterday, so he might be fit and available for this one here, which will move Kelleher out of the goal, of course. But yeah, apart from that, Liverpool have some key players, of course, as well as the long-term injuries in Jota and Andrew Robertson. But yeah, I think Liverpool will grab a win here. 2-0. Crystal Palace just don't have that way of putting the ball in the back of the net at the moment and causing them enough problems to give Liverpool a scare. So I think they will win it by 2-0. Let's see what you're saying here in the chat. People think I went 3-1 Liverpool, says Moss. 2-1 Liverpool, says Night Wolf. 2-0 as well, says Casey. Agreeing with me there. 2-1 Liverpool, says Shay. T Talks predictions, mismatch weeks, but Eagle Eye predictions are. But yeah, I do it by myself here on the channel now. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, if I'm not available, the whole thing gate. But yeah, I've still been keeping up to the date with them in the community page. But let's move on now into, we'll probably go through these fixtures a little bit quicker, but a little bit of praise for Man United with Erik ten Hag getting manager of the month, and Harry Maguire getting player of the month, and Alejandro Garnacho getting goal of the month in November, all of them. But yeah, fair play to them, because yeah, Man United, 1 defeat in their last how many games? They've been quite good, and that did come at the hands of Newcastle, and they got battered in that game. But yeah, they kept responded well with a big victory against Chelsea, 2-1. Yes, it is Chelsea, but is that a game where Erik ten Hag will look to build on now? Is that something that he will look to build on here? But before I carry on and into this, I just want to big up Mohammed in here in the building. Big up to Mohammed, my friend, my fellow Gooner. He says, hi Tereak, my friend, pray for us in Palestine, pray for Gaza in this difficult time. Mohammed, I am praying for you, my brother, and I will keep you in my prayers, and that for you to be peace, and for the fellow people within there as well. It is a horrible moment what you guys are going through, for the fear in your life, and each day I can't imagine it. And my brother, I really do appreciate you coming in here. I want to send my love to you, and would love to have you on the channel again sometime soon, my friend. And yeah, man, God bless you. I'm praying for you, my man. And yeah, and hope in even in this dark time that you're finding, a form of joy with Arsenal performing well and being top of the table. Would love to get to speak to you about that as well, my friend Mohammed. Love to see you in here. But with Manchester United and Bournemouth as well, Man United, 2 teams in good form. Bournemouth, who have found their way under Andoni Iraola, and long-time people, listeners to the channel, will also know that I've been a massive fan of Andoni Iraola and his work that he did at Rayo Vallecano. Do you like my little accents that I'm putting on here? Yeah, I've been to Spain twice this year, so now I think I'm here as Big Español. But Moss probably speaks better Spanish than me. But Manchester United, Bournemouth. Hey, what do you? It's difficult, man, because I feel like Bournemouth are going to can cause them problems. Definitely, but Man United, they do show some form of vulnerability. But I mean, not Man United, but Bournemouth do. And it should be an interesting game. It is a 3 o'clock kickoff, so I'm sure Moss might be covering it as well on his channel, as he does with a lot of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. But how this fixture will go? Let's talk about the injuries before I do. Sorry, coughing into the microphone again. Do apologise. But before I do talk about the result, Manchester United injuries, they will still have no Casemiro, Malacia, Lisandro Martinez, Christian Eriksen, who could be available for this one, be a big plus for them in that midfield. Of course, no Jadon Sancho, not too soon for Amad Diallo, and there's a lower back injury for Rafael Varane, who has his future linked away from the club. So the injury list looking a little bit better for Manchester United here. I didn't see any Mason Mount on there, so he might return for this fixture here. Bournemouth with theirs, they do have a long injury list. No Tyler Adams, no Alex Scott, Lloyd Kelly, Max Aarons, Ahmed Traore, Fredericks, Emiliano Marcondes, or no Darren Randolph. So no updates for for Bournemouth on the injury front. But yeah, so the main players that have been key performers, like your Dominic Solankis and Marcus Taverniers, are all fit and available for this game here. So that should be good. And I think it will be an interesting game. On the Saturday night, I think match of the day will be quite fun to watch with this one, with both teams that are looking to play progressive football and trying to put their style on things. They're still in the early days of their both teams' rebuilds, I guess, in that sense, trying to take on the manager's philosophy. But I do think Man United are going to continue this winning run. And I do think they are going to win this game. And I've just gone with Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 1. I think both teams will score. Still that vulnerability defensively from Man United when they come up against a team that do know how to attack, unlike Chelsea. But even Chelsea had a few chances where they should have scored in that game beyond the goal as well that they did. So yeah, I think Bournemouth will be able to score, but Man United, if they can get Rasmus Højlund getting his first goal, that'll be good for him to get a boost of confidence. McTominay is their most important player right now, especially in front of goal. I think Højlund and a McTominay goal in this one here for the Red Devils, and that'll be enough to get them the 3 points and put them level on points with Manchester City before they face Luton. Wow, how crazy does that sound, given how much stick and how much frustration there has been in the red side of Manchester? It's crazy. It's crazy how football is at times. And that's what happens when you don't draw games, because Man United don't draw, they win or lose them. So yeah, draws, when you draw 2-minute games, guys, they're just like defeats. That's the thing. That's why when Arsenal, we've drawn 3 games this season. We drew to Tottenham, Fulham, and Chelsea. Much rather lose one of them and win one of them. Do you know what I mean? I know I win one of them, because if you lose one of them and win one of them, swap them 3 draws for 1 defeat and a win, you get more points on the board in the end. And yeah, I know defeats have more of a psychological impact in that sense, but hey, nah, give me wins, man. I saw Manchester City last season; they lost more games than they drew, and I don't know. Yeah, did they lose more games than they drew? I think they did in the end. But yeah, that's the difference. That is the difference. Red Devils 3-1 against the Cherries. He says Man United 3-0, says Shay. Casey said 2-1, 3-1 Red Devils against Cherries. Moss says 2-1 as well. He's gone for Rashford and Rasmus Højlund with the goals. Rashford will do well to grab them in that game there. Let's have a look. Anyone else? Mohammed replied and he said, "Thank you, Tereak, for your kind words. I hope soon I'll be talking with you after this difficult situation and aggression on our people in Palestine ends. Inshallah, love from Palestine. Love to yourself as well. Yeah, and I do hope that it does end. Yeah, and peace is important essentially. And brother, that's why, man. And yeah, and keep in touch, my man. We got each other on Twitter. We spoke about Kivior as well. We was talking about that situation at left back. He didn't have a great performance at left back, my bro. So yeah, keep in touch, my man. And yeah, love to you always. And the door is always open for you on the channel. Just let me know. Drop me a message. Drop me, get in the chat. Whatever. Yeah, best way is for you, my bro. And yeah, take care, my man. 1-1 draw, says Nightwolf. Oof, that will kind of burst their bubble. My cousin said 1-1. Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Shay, what did you go for? You went for a 3-0 Man United win. We'll have to wait and see, guys. We will indeed. Let's definitely go through these games a bit more quicker, faster pace, so we can show you the predictions league. We've gone through some of the main fixtures. Sorry if we are talking about your team here, but yeah, just for the sake of time. And my voice is going. It's not that bad. Sound like Sean Dyche. All right, but nah. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Sean Dyche's previous team, where he was a legend as a player, in Nottingham Forest. It is a West versus East Midlands derby, and these two teams do have a bit of a rivalry building at the moment. Morgan Gibbs White making that move over there, but because of certain incidences that happened in previous fixtures, there is a bit of needle added in this one here. But Wolverhampton Wanderers got that win against Burnley, and Nottingham Forest, with Steve Cooper's job in danger, with Evangelos Marinakis, who is gave him the vote of confidence, which is a sign that you are on the edge of being sacked. The infamous sign of showing, that vote of confidence. Yeah, we're with you, but we know that results have to improve. If you don't win here, then you are in big trouble, my friend. And they are coming up against a team that haven't necessarily got the results on all their fixtures, but definitely have performed well in most of their games. Problem is for Wolves is putting the ball in the back of the net and referees giving them justified decisions. But yeah, I think Wolves will take some confidence going into this game. Another home game. Hwang scoring again. One of the top goal scorers in the league. What's that? 8 goals this season for Hwang Hee-chan. And bearing in mind, I live in the Wolverhampton area, and a lot of Wolves fans are not huge favourites of and they do not like Hwang Hee-chan. From what I was speaking to most of them last season, I'm sure their tune has changed a little bit going with this one here. But yeah, I have gone for a Wolves win. I do think this could be a final nail in the coffin. Hwang Hee-chan again. Get him in your FPL. I say this without him being in my FPL as well. But I have gone for a 2-0 Wolves win. That will be the final nail in the coffin for Steve Cooper as well. So Casey's gone for a 2-1 Wolves win. Shay's gone for a 1-1 draw. Nightwolf has gone for a 3-2 Forest. And Tereak, can you swap your screenshot? I'm swinging to see you so small for the emblem badges of the team. It's incorrect. I hear you. So basically, my brother, you want to see this big head? That's what you want to do. Nah. Now, is that moving mad here? So pause again. But yeah, smash the like button for Shay. Listen to Shay, smash it for me and Shay as well, and subscribe for all of the people here. Moss in the building says Wolves 1, and he says 1-0 to then Cunha and Steve Cooper done. Moss, if that does happen, if either our predictions do occur, I think that's it. That is done for Steve Cooper. And I saw a rumor. I saw from Sammy Mokbel, who is a journalist here in the UK for the Daily Mail, but he's a well-connected one, especially with the England camp and Arsenal. He knows a lot about Arsenal. He was the one that brought the news that Odegaard had a concussion. So he's a well-connected journalist, and he said that Steve Cooper is one of the favourites for the role at Crystal Palace. So it could be a pivotal weekend in the managerial merry-go-round if Crystal Palace lose and Nottingham Forest lose. Nottingham Forest pull the trigger on Steve Cooper, that could then, in tandem, enforce Crystal Palace to pull the trigger on Roy Hodgson, and then get Steve Cooper in. And yeah, it would be funny if Nottingham Forest went and got Roy Hodgson in. Yeah, football, crazy things happen. There's crazier things that have happened there. But I do think that this will be the last game for Steve Cooper in charge if he doesn't win this here. And I don't think he will. 2-0 Wolverhampton Wanderers. We have got Brighton versus Burnley in this fixture here. Burnley, who did win 5-0 before they faced Wolves, and they did lose in the next fixture away at Molineux. But Brighton picked up a 2-1 win against Brentford, and that is a big victory for Brighton, who have shown a lot of inconsistency this season. You never know what to expect with them. They're like a box of chocolates at Christmas time. You never know what to expect. Or yeah, I don't quite get that saying because you do get the instructions on there, but I get that the randomness and unpredictability of Brighton. However, I do think that this is the kind of fixture that they will win, and they will look to play their football. And Burnley will expand on them a little bit in that sense. Two teams that have a expansive way of playing, but defensively have been very vulnerable this season. Both teams have done, but Brighton will want to build on that, and try and go on a roll and get some form. De Zerbi will hope as well. But I've gone for a 3-1 Brighton win going into this fixture here. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Don't forget to leave your predictions in the live chat as well if you want me to bring them up, or if you want to be involved in the predictions league to get them into the comment section as well. And I think we do have one more game. No, two more games that we need to predict before I do get into the predictions league. And I'm just going to quickly go through both of them. Sheffield United take on the before mentioned Bees, who are without Brian Mbeumo, who did pick up an ankle injury and he's going to be out for a few weeks at that. So worry for those who put him in the fantasy football team. I put him in earlier this week as well. He scored a goal, then got himself injured. Absolute nightmare. But yeah, two teams, Brentford, who are without Brian Mbeumo, and Sheffield United with a new manager, Chris Wilder at the helm. Didn't get his managerial bounce against Liverpool, but guess what, guys? I've gone with him to get the managerial bounce here at home. I do think Chris Wilder is a very good coach, and he's in his first season in particular at Sheffield United, excelled and did a very good job. And it kind of gets forgotten about because of what happened in that year with the pandemic, how high they were flying up in the table at that point. They were above Arsenal, I believe, at one point, and we played them in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Danny Ceballos won us that game in the end, and then the rest is history. Yeah, because Arsenal won that FA Cup that year. But yeah, if he can have any resemblance of that, I don't think it'll be enough for them to stay up. But yeah, just give them a fighting chance at the very least, and which is kind of what they want really going into this second half of the season. It was the first sacking that we saw in the Premier League, and yeah, to get in an old manager, yeah, good to get a kind of a face, a familiar face in and around. But sometimes you want fresh ideas to give you a better chance. But yeah, I just think the quality at Sheffield United is that low. So Shea's gone for a 2-0 Brentford. He's changed it to a 2-0 Brentford. 0-0 draw, says Nightwolf. 1-1 Blades versus Bees, says Casey. 1-0 Burnley win, 1-0 Burnley. 2-0 Seagulls against the Clarets as well, says Casey. Moss says 2-1 Brighton versus Burnley. Burnley for Ferguson and Buonanotte versus Koleosho, Canadian. Hey, Moss, Koleosho, would not mind him at the Arsenal. That's all I'm saying. That's not all I'm saying. I really love that kid. I think he's a bright spark, and Arteta could do some magic with him. Luca Koleosho, mate, come to Arsenal. I'd love that. Canadian, that's the Canadian I endorse. Jonathan David, I was a bit not too sure, especially after watching him in the World Cup. But Luca Koleosho, hey, That's one I'm definitely sure on. Damon Buemo out while the bounce maybe. Moss changing. Thanks to Talks. Man, he says 1-1 now. You can put your final one in the comment section. Oh, I'm just having a look. And Buemo's fit for this game. He's not. I'm just trying to throw you off track. You're on a good run of form, and I'll show you why I'm throwing off track straight after this game. Fulham versus West Ham in a London derby. West versus East. Again, we have a West versus East Midlands, and now we've got a West versus East London. Say East London. No. Sorry. It's a little video meme if you've seen it here in the UK. Yeah, it's a bit mad, so I shouldn't really be saying that. But Fulham versus West Ham United. Again, two teams you never really know what to expect. Very inconsistent. João Palhinha, top player. Really do like him. It would be a dream to get him in January, but don't think that's going to happen. But we'd have a strong team. We'd have a midfield. If Arsenal had a midfield of Declan Rice and João Palhinha next season, I think we'd look to try and break that Chelsea record of 15 goals. Chelsea conceded 15 goals in one season. João Palhinha and Rice in the midfield, two durable midfielders. Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. We ain't conceded more than 15 goals if that was the case. But right now he's at Fulham, and they are playing West Ham, who are just off the back of the victory themselves. Both of them had handsome and impressive victories this week. I really do struggle with both of these teams, That's why I left them last. I thought I tried to leave my mind to mull over a bit, but I'm sitting on a fence. Get me on a fence, people. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. Never know what to predict. West Ham could easily win 3-1. Would not surprise me. And then flip that score the other way around. Wouldn't surprise me either. Two good coaches, not Antonio, Marco Silva and David Moyes. Two very good coaches. Got good, well-drilled teams, but you never really know what to expect again. There's a 3-1 West Ham, says Shay. Me and Casey gone for a 2-2 draw here. I told you about Collier. You did. You really did tell me about Collier Show, because I did not know he was Italian-Canadian, and he can represent one more country, I think, like Nigeria or something like that. But USA, USA. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Serious player, man. Very big player. The Italians will want to get their hands on him. Imagine him in Chiesa. In that midfield. Yes, the decision's up to him. If it's based on a career, he would. If it's based on best opportunities for his career, he'd probably choose Italy. If it's based on what he feels, I don't know. I don't know where he's born or I don't really know his background like that. But you probably do, Moss. Cottage is 2-2. So agreeing with me, says Casey. 3-1 Shay. They'd be invincible again. If we had that midfield, Casey, I'll take that. I probably wouldn't disagree. Invincible is hard in this day and age, just given the amount of games that you have to play. But definitely wouldn't. I don't think we can see goals at all. It'd be so hard to play for Arsenal. Saliba, Gabriel, Palhinha, Rice. Casey, man. I need to stop dreaming. That'd be a joke of a midfield. Wanted Kudus so bad for Arsenal. Me too, Moss. Do you remember when we was doing the transfer shows in the summer? Man, it was like, get Kudus out there, him and Saka in tandem. And then not even necessarily like that, because with Kudus, he's versatile enough. You can play him in the midfield, you can play him on the left, you can play him up front if you want to as well. Yeah, man, would have been a top signing. I think Arsenal. I read an article from David Ornstein, and apparently he was an alternative to Kai Havertz. So once Arsenal made that Kai Havertz signing, it was kind of like, we don't need you, Kudus. But you could sign Havertz and Kudus as well, surely. 1-0 Juve over Napoli in the extra time there. So that might be finished before we are. 3-win West Ham, says Night Wolf. Canada versus Messi. Cogliosho, he will need him in that games. And the Italians ain't going to play him. Yeah, he's taking a bigger risk, isn't he? If he believes in himself as well. Like, if it's talk about pure talent, it's a better chance of winning and prospering his career. Yeah, of course, it'd be Italy. But yeah, bigger jeopardy as well. If you're not quite at the level, you won't play. Exactly, you must. Cousin said 3-1. Yeah, I saw that. No, Wolf said 3-1. Could have had David and Kudus instead of Ryan and Havertz. Think about Hey, Moss, we need to talk, man. Hey, I like Ryan Havertz. You know me. I like David Ryan. I like Kai Havertz. Yeah. But yeah, remember, put your predictions in the comments. Listen to Shay right there. Please do. As we are going to I'm going to show you now the predictions league, how things are looking. This was the table before game week 14. So there has been game week 14 and 15. So I have added those scores, and this is the table now. Moss Boss is having a great one. Moss, mate, 104 points. Yeah, I think he took a big jump there, and he's close. Look how tight it is. Second, third, fourth, and fifth. Wow, huge. Yeah, big gaps. And look at the jump that Moss made from there. 4-point gap. He's put it down to 1, mate. He's put it down to. He's 1, isn't it? He should be. Yeah. It is 1. He's put it down to 1. Moss had a big week himself, man. So yeah, big up to yourself as well, Moss. Like a big 2 weeks, shall I say? Bit and the gap's not even too far, really. Things can be made from what, even ninth, big jumps can be made from there. Still plenty. Not even halfway through the season. Mange is still sitting pretty at the top, but 10 points between him and Pax. A bit of a gap there, and then yeah, very close between second and fifth in this one here. And the current predictor of the month is Moss Boss, who is holding that lead at the moment. And I think he was holding the lead, and he was up there with Mr. 200 last month. But I think you missed one of the prediction shows. But you are currently leading, and Moss, now that you are here, make sure you do get your predictions into the comment section as well, as you are currently in the lead, but closely followed by Mr. 200, who has got 15 points to his name, as well as Manch, who's got 13. And it is close. I think, Paxton, you're the next one up with 10 points. So yeah, people, make sure you get your predictions in at the end of the stream, or at least before the 12:30 kickoff on tomorrow for the Crystal Palace game. And that is that as well, people. So I've wrapped that up here. Moss, currently you are in the lead. And if you do win that this month, you will get that prize at the end of the month as well. So I really do appreciate you guys. You got 8 points, so I think you're the next one after Paxton. So you're at 5th, Shay. So you're still plenty of time to go. Got this week's. We've got how many games left in December? We've got quite a few game weeks. So yeah, nowhere, far from done. Like far from done. I don't even think we're halfway. We're not. Yeah, we'll be in the halfway stage of this month after this weekend. So plenty of time, people. Don't you worry. Best name for a jersey? Ooh, Gabriel or Sabri, Sabri, Galbia, Galiba or Sabriel. Okay, I just literally thought of Gabriel Saliba, but I hear you. You're trying to get the names. Sabriel. I like Sabriel. Yeah, because you got Sa. Yeah, you got Gal. Yeah, Sabriel. I like Sabriel. Big up to yourself, though, guys. He says you're a legend. Thank you, my man. Really, I do appreciate it. Eagle-eyed, come here. Take out my points for getting before last Saturday, less than an hour from when I awoke. I was still before matches, and they say too bad. Well, Super Brew better. Hey, Moss, man. Don't worry, I counted yours, my brother. I counted yours in the end. But yeah, guys, make sure you do leave your predictions in the comment section. I said that again. Make sure you do hit that like button. I will be back here tomorrow. I really do appreciate you coming on the channel, guys, and just showing some love and support. Make sure we can get them predictions in beforehand, and I will wrap up. And thank you for saying get well soon. I am about there. I'd say I'm about 85% there. Still need to get this cough off my chest and my nose a bit clear, and my voice without it sounding this croaky. But hey, at least it's here before Christmas. And at least your rules easy to get. Yeah, exactly. Try to make it as easy as possible, not just for you guys, but for me as well. Love to you all, people. I will catch you again tomorrow. Moss, come on the Arsenal. This is what we like to hear. I might jump on your stream at least at halftime or something for tomorrow, if that's all okay. But everyone, can catch me here on Tereak Talks after that, and would love to talk to you about the Arsenal game, especially for Lagooners. Love to you all in the chat. Enjoy your evening, and I'm out. Peace.